Colle della Battaglia, tra Calascio e
Colle della Battaglia, between Calascio and Castel del Monte, a place, a name that hide a very important past. Yes, we are on an Italic Vestini settlement, an ancient population that lived here and was particularly known for its main feature, that of raising sheep. So from this place, from this hill, Vestini controlled the whole area, and here the herds moved to places further down. Then, as today, we want to tell you the story of transhumance and sheep farming. Transhumance is a phenomenon that has strongly modified these territories in Abruzzo, especially the inner mountains. From these villages, the shepherds led their flocks through the livestock trail towards the most downstream places, towards the south, towards Apulia, where the sheep could stay during the winter. They would come back to these mountains only in May of the following year, when the green of the mountains made the pastures good for the production of cheese. I am from Castel del Monte. I'm a child of Castel del Monte. Almost everyone did this activity in the past. In 1700, out of 200 families, 180 were farmers. I always compare this decline to the disappearance of dinosaurs. The shepherds of Castel del Monte were like dinosaurs because they were considered the best in the world of transhumance. When people said shepherds, to mean a good shepherd, they meant a shepherd from Castel del Monte. Transhumance meant moving 20, 25 kilometers a day on foot with this herd. You had to look after it and then milk it. All the operations were done from a standstill. In this case, they had to be done on the move, but transhumance was a way of life, a style of life that people had to choose. Transhumance for men meant not seeing his wife and his family for 8 months. June the 10th has gone by, and historically, after this date, the sheep were taken to the pasture in Campo Imperatore. Let them go. Today, transhumance is strongly linked to the main product, Pecorino Canestrato from Castel del Monte. In the past, the product that led these herds from hundreds of miles was wool, a much sought after product in Italy, but especially abroad. These territories, when you see something beautiful, a building, a church, it comes from the money of the wool. Together with my son, I raise 3,000 sheep. This is a small sample. This is the feather in the cap of my farm. Here are ewe lambs of the breed Gentile di Puglia and also black lambs. The breed Gentile di Puglia, the breed of transhumance. On the long journey to the winter pastures, cheese was certainly produced. And one of these is Canestrato of Castel del Monte, a product of great value which represents the true essence of pastoralism. I have collected the legacy of the Canestrato of Castel del Monte. My legs were shaking even when I talked about Canestrato of Castel del Monte. It was untouchable. I did not change the methods, the cheese making methods, but I've tried to improve the distribution and to improve the production. Canestrato is a very simple cheese, a process that couldn't be any simpler. It had to be made in the springtime along the sheep trail. The secret of this cheese was the pasture. It was the raw milk. The quality of the milk would not change. The choice of the grass that the sheep made to produce milk would then have an impact on the milk and the cheese. Here is the milk. The milk arrived 45 minutes ago. It was heated. The lactic starter and the rennet were added, and now it has coagulated and is ready for the shaping of the cheese in the baskets. In the case of canestrato, they're baskets. Our equipment, like anything else, has evolved. So from the copper boiler with fire underneath, we moved to double bottom steel with steam inside, thence to plastic molds to simplify and improve the production process. What has remained the same is the ritual of cardling and then forming. We now use the metal lyres. They're much more effective because of their planetary movement. They crush the card in every corner so that you get a grain of rice type of texture. This is typical of cheese with a certain maturity. So you need to break the paste to then release the whey, which may interfere with the aging of cheese. And we have discovered the source of cheese. We're doing the molding inside the baskets. The curdling has already taken place. The cheese has the strength, the power, the right temperature to coagulate. And the better this phase, the better the quality of the final product. So there will be no cracks in the cheese, no strange cracks in the paste. Today, the cheese will stay in the baskets to cool as slowly as possible. Tomorrow, it will go through this phase. It's nothing else, it's nothing but sea salt. We use water, brine, because it is more practical and homogeneous in terms of absorption. The cheese will stay here for 24 hours. It is floating on the surface of the water. This means that the paste, the cheese paste, has the right texture. Here we are in the ripening cell. Here it comes on a cart from the salting room. This is the so-called primo sale. And then, without adding anything else, by just turning it, you get to a waxed cheese. Waxed because it has the same color of wax. 15-20 days ripening, 1 month ripening, and then we get to 2-3 months. A small part of cheese is aged for 1 year, 2 years. The ones down there, 3 years of ripening. And of course, this is larger cheese, which takes longer to age. And after 2 years, they have the right paste. Mold is not negative in cheese. Mold is something natural. Nature, in order to protect its product, develops penicillium. And this is the origin of penicillin, the antibiotic, and it will protect the cheese. And then in some batches of cheese, mold may develop, just like rust. So when you have to choose a cheese, make sure it has this sign because nature marked it. The recovery of ancient traditions, such as those related to pastoralism, the production of cheese of great value, the recovery of ancient varieties such as ancient cereals, such as lentils from Santo Stefano. They are the key through which this company, like many others, are innovating tradition to design a different future on a human scale with a view to environmental sustainability.